I have always tried to answer it in a manner that could satisfy the Western mind particularly, because they are being misled by their own propaganda in so many ways. Personally, I believe there are two objects or objectives of the Kosovo crisis, which are being followed by Clinton or the Western powers altogether. You see, first of all, let me suggest that if they meant real business and they wanted to save the Kosovan Muslims from ultimate destruction, they knew from their past experience that military occupation of the area was essential. So in the name of United Nations, not in the name of NATO or United States alone, but in the name of United Nations, they could have turned it into a humanitarian issue, or it was a humanitarian issue, but they should have taken it as a humanitarian issue, which could only be resolved by military presence in that area. Now, if I'm right, and I'm sure I'm right because other Western politicians have also fully endorsed this view. Clinton himself has accepted the fact that without the military occupation of that area, we cannot really resolve the problem. Some Western representatives on television say it is not possible to do it within a few months. Military presence to be made there requires a pre-planning of 5, 10 or more months. I agree, but they had all the time available. Kosovan crisis has not sprung up like a surprise. They knew it, they could anticipate it. They had seen it before, happening before. So if they were honest and sincere in saving the Muslim population of Kosovo, they could have done the same thing as suggested by themselves. So the previous Prime Minister of England has also said that in so many words. He said, all this is a hoax. What they should have done was to send military to occupy that area. Now, suppose it had happened. It would have become impossible for Yugoslavian Serbs to bombard United Nations military. If they had done so, then the United Nations had all the rights to hit back, not only at the bridges and military sources, but being hit by their army and by their gunships, etc., they could kick back anywhere. And the responsibility will fall on would have fallen on the shoulders of Serbians, not on the shoulder of outsiders. So this situation has led to many difficulties as to why it is happening and what is the ultimate objective. After analyzing the whole situation, my impression is that there are two objectives. Number one, to destroy the most trusted ally of Russia. Outside Russia today, all European countries and ex-Russian countries have left Russia as an ally, in fact. They're pursuing their own lines now. They're trying to gain independence against USSR. So the only well-trusted ally of USSR today is Yugoslav Serbs. There is no shadow of doubt about that. So if in the name of humanity and humanitarian crisis, they could bombard Serbs everywhere and destroy their military might, that would be a purpose achieved. In the meantime, Kosovo would have been bereft of Muslim population. So in the heart of Europe, they will find an area which, even if handed over to Muslims ultimately, would have been empty of Muslims for a very, very long time. And that united might of a political Muslim power would have disappeared. And because of their previous experiences and their fears of a Muslim strong presence in Europe, which are promoted mostly by the acts of Muslim terrorists, etc., they could be declared justified in so much. So this strategy, as you find today, is serving both these purposes.
This question from Mr. Hammond from Lewisham.
Mr. Hammond from Lewisham.
Yes.
Please. Where is
He says,
over there, yes, please.
Yes. He says, I'm persuaded to believe in Islam, but a few things still stop me. One is, why is it that when the beliefs are as stated, Islam is associated with so much violence?
I think I have already answered this question, because violence is not the central theme of any religion in the world. But when religion go berserk and they leave their original sources, then the people who are left to guard the name of that religion guard it only for their own personal sake and to serve their ego no more. And that ego can be served by violence and this and that. What they call domination of a religion is in fact political domination of a people, no more. While domination in religious terms should be explained only domination of godly things. So these two things are quite at war with each other. Political domination of a people in the name of religion and domination of godly character cannot go together hand in hand. So I advise you to consider your opinion about Islam or about Christianity or about any other religion in the light of what I have said. Thank you.
He's got another question in the same lines.
Yes, please, yes.
But how can it be acceptable that mortal man can take the position of God and claim to be fighting to defend truth on God's behalf?
It's not possible. It's stupid. Huh? Yes.
This question from Ms. Somaya Pilichoska from Camden.
Yes, please.
Yes. She's an artist. Her question is, please can you tell us what is the position of Islam on the use of cannabis?
Use of cannabis?
Cannabis for medicinal use. Is it haram?
Medicinal use of cannabis is permissible should be permissible according to every religion. Because medicinal use of anything which has been created by God is useful for the mankind, and it cannot be considered to be illegal in any sense. But when you use the name of medicine for giving yourself license to use cannabis, then under this cover, unfortunately, this cannabis is used most often wrongly than rightly. And when under medical advice cannabis is used, it very often happens that during the course of the treatment, the person gets addicted to cannabis itself, causing another disease. So that is why I discourage the use of cannabis, but limited and cautious use is permissible.
Ms. Pilichoska has another question. What do you say to those who give money on the lottery with the excuse that it pays for charities? isn't it gambling?